Dear Amy, that's Anna, and that's our first episode of Listen Me podcast. And with me, Lala, superstar, singer, coach, who will host the podcast.
Hello, guys. Anna, I can't believe we were sitting here 2.5 weeks ago. Well, we weren't sitting here, we were sitting on a call, and you were telling me about your idea for a podcast, about wanting me to host it. And I said to you, okay, yeah, whatever, thinking this is going to happen 3 months from now. And you've actually managed to create this space and have us sitting here within 2 weeks. I am shocked.
That's a startup speed.
That's startup speed. I'm going to add this to my to-do list of things that I want to get good at. Okay. We were talking about who we wanted to invite on the podcast. We were going through a big list of names. And I was just sitting there going, I can't believe that I'm going to have to say this out. I was like, Anna, we're going to interview you for our first episode. I'm so happy to be sitting with you. We've known each other for a few years now. I think it's almost coming up to 3 years. I've been a Les Amis member for 2 and something years.
Exactly.
I'm so happy to be sitting here. I feel like every time I sit with you, I learn something new. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do that.
My first question, very difficult one. How are you feeling right now?
It is exciting.
Yes.
Overwhelmed.
Yes.
But let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Any nerves?
Of course not.
No. Okay, guys, let's begin. I want to know one thing that most people don't know about you.
I think, on the public, I look very serious. Okay, she started the company, she knows her numbers and so on. But actually, I'm just a girl, literally the small girl from small city. I'm eating crisps in my free time because that's my way how to just be myself and calm down, and that's very simple.
What's your favorite flavor of crisps?
Oh, I love Pringles, the green one.
You started working at age 12. What was the weirdest job you did?
So there was a job in a library, and remember at that time, long time ago, you can rent cassettes or DVD discs. So, and of course, when you rent it, sometimes it can be, defected. So when people come and they bring what they say defected disc, it went to me. There was a small room in the library where I was sitting and I needed to watch all these cassettes and DVD discs just to make a summary it is defected or no, it's not defected.
Wait, how long did you do this job for?
3 months.
Okay, 3 months. But how big was the space? How big was this booth?
Oh, it was literally just a TV and little sofa.
So
yes,
this space. So you were getting paid to just watch stuff all day?
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing you watched?
Oh, there was actually a lot of this, the movies, actually cartoons for kids 2-3 years old. So for me, it was super boring to watch it. It was also in Estonian and oh my goodness, it's so boring.
What did these jobs teach you? Because 12 is a really young age to start working.
It is, but definitely what I learned from it is that I'm not afraid of the hard work. And I understand that to achieve something, you actually have to work and need to work. So for me, for example, during all these ages, I never thought that, okay, somebody will help me, or maybe there will be some luck. Then I will get something for free or just by itself. No, in my reality, it doesn't work like that. So I was always thinking that the hard work is the only way how to achieve something. And I'm continuing believing that.
What led you into tech and eventually into PayPal?
In the tech, so I was studying economics, and that moment I actually didn't know what exactly I wanted to be. And then at that time, since in Estonia there's so many startups, for example TransferWise, Bold, at some point there was Skype as well, then they had a lot of excursions, hours in the office hours, it's called. And I was going there just to meet people, just to understand what is the job about. And I truly love this, let's say, being serious without the suit. Everybody was wearing hoodies, there were dogs in the office, they had beer and crisps, of course.
The green Pringles?
Actually not, usually Lays. So, and I loved it, that that you can actually build something, be the part of the product, but not wearing like always the suits and being like super serious and so on. So I truly loved it. So that's why I'm like, okay, I want to be there.
And then, okay, so you decide you want to be in there. How long does it take to actually get there?
2 years, even less, 1.5.
1.5. And I wonder, how did that experience shape who you are today?
So it's the mix. So for example, my first job in tech was in a startup, and definitely teach me how to build the product in a very fast way, how to be always in a chaos and everything. Then after 2 years being in a startup, I joined PayPal, and of course it's absolutely different dynamic. Very slow. You need to get a lot of approvals just to make one feature like going live. But in general, definitely taught me how to have a structure even in a startup environment. And that's what we're really trying to do in Lesami, to make this chaotic environment more structured.
So when did the idea for Les Amis begin?
Basically from my personal experience, because I moved countries twice, and both times it was like, wow, exciting, new city, new life. And then both cases I was like, okay, tried all the apps that existed at that time, but they all had some kind of problems. For example, I don't think that swiping suits for friendships.
No, it's a little bit Mean Girls, right?
Yeah, and
you're in, you're not.
Don't choose a friend by photos. This is cringe. And then, for example, this big networking events when just a bunch of random people coming to the event, it also doesn't make sense because you don't have anything in common with them. Yes, they're nice people, but you don't have anything in common. So there won't be friends, meaning that you're just wasting your evening or your time. That's why we wanted to create something when very similar people are coming with the same intention, and they also have an activity in place. So basically you're not like forced to always talk because you have to, since there's a silent, but no, there's the workshop activity and it feels like all natural. And then at the end you also have the common experience together, like, oh, we build like pottery together and there are like these ugly cups. That's funny. And that's how you build like these first memories together.
I wonder, because every time I speak to someone who's building a company, they always say entrepreneurship and spirituality is like two paths that eventually have to intertwine because it can be such an intense process. I wonder, is there anything that you wish you would have known before you started Les Amis?
I would say that I would be happy to know that actually being a founder, it's a very lonely place, to be honest, because you can't tell about your problems to anyone since nobody really understands how is it to be a founder. You can't tell it to your, for example, employees because they will think that, oh, maybe
the ship is sinking.
Yeah, we should leave the company. Or also you always need to prove yourself, like, my company is working, here's the numbers, like, and everybody is saying that, okay, this idea is, you shouldn't waste your time in it. Or like investors always say like, no, we won't invest, it's not scalable, and so on. And you always need to prove, and you're always like, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm doing it, it will be working, I can see that. And this is really hard. And what is important is actually to have this circle around you who will be truly understand you and who will really support you in this hard journey.
What do you know now that you wish you'd known before you started?
I think the first and the most important is to be prepared as much as possible to start this founder's life, meaning so keep your job as long as possible before starting to being a founder, because you never know, like, will this idea work out or not? Will you get any money for it, like any salary? Because yeah, when you're like a corporate girl, you know that the money coming every, 25th of the month, and you feel very stable. But then once you quit the company, it will not happen, and it can not happen for a long, long time, even like years.
And there's also, I feel like so many posts, I don't know if you see this on social media, but I see this so many times, like all these posts that tell you, oh, quit your job, like go all in, like, and I feel like it's really damaging a lot of people because, especially
Yeah.
for someone who's been working in a corporation for a long time, like the level of instability. I mean, I'm an artist, so like I've grown up in instability. Like I could write a manual at this point, but
That's true.
it can be quite a big change, can't it?
For me personally, it was like very nervous aspect because I'm like, wow, like I don't have any salary for a year. How come I can just see that my balance goes like down, 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 just decreasing, and it is very stressful. And in addition to that, you have all other problems, like a huge bucket of problems. So what I really recommend, just keep your job as long as possible, test the idea, question like your potential users, and not like, what do you think about this app, will you use it? But no, you need to use like the mom's test technique, basically just understanding how people use, like how people solve their problem, or like something about it right now, just to understand what is their behavior right now. Because if you will ask like, will you use my app, of course you'll say yes, because you want to be nice. um, that's why like be prepared as much as possible, because the founder's journey is tough.
I think I'd also add to that as well, like have very grounding practices, because I think that like obviously the founding process, it's constantly head, like in your head, thinking, solving. And I think that all the time, I see this constantly with people that I coach, people that constantly identifying with a head and thoughts and thinking. And actually, if you don't have like a lot of grounding, if you don't have grounding practices, and that could be not as silly, but literally like breath awareness, meditation, it can it can be years before you can realize like how in your head you've become, and like your body's changing, stress. I get so many people that haven't slept in years, hair falling out, like hormones changing. So I think having like a really, really grounding environment that can support you as well in this process can be really
100%.
handy.
And also, like in the moments when you feel like really bad, truly recommend to, for example, get the therapist, because it's truly hard when you constantly hear like, no. Will you invest? No, no, no. And you receive like hundreds no within a month. And you're like, oh my God, probably I'm building something absolutely irrelevant. And that's what you will think. So that can be also the way how to keep calm and like keep believing in the idea.
It's so funny that you say that, because when I was in a band and we were just beginning, and obviously like music industry is very similar to a founding process. We've talked about this before, the amount of rejection that you have to get used to, but it's just being comfortable sometimes with standing in a room and everyone just looking at you going, what is this? And just being so confident in what you're about to say. And that takes time, it takes practice, but also I think people just assume sometimes that it comes naturally, whereas it actually comes from hearing no so many times that you just kind of don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, because obviously this is like a product that is catered to women. In startups, in tech, it is still mostly male driven. How was it for you, like going around to like a group of like, I don't know, like 60, 50-year-old like men, asking them to invest in, because to me it sounds like a no-brainer, right? But how was it for you standing in rooms with men, mostly men, giving them this idea or giving them this project?
In the beginning, it was really hard. I would say like the first 2 years when, let's say, our traction wasn't high, it was like low numbers and so on. And then you just started and you're a woman. And there was like so many times when I was like literally a single woman in this space full of men. And it's also like, they definitely won't understand what I'm building, because I'm like, here's
It's
the
a girl
product
thing.
for women. Yeah. Like, of course, I received like many rejections about that. Now, like RL, like meeting in real life and so on, becomes a very popular thing in a space, because everybody is like fed up with AI already. And now investors coming to us, because of course we are like a big name. Do we need them now? Not sure, but it's just the life. Let's see.
How did you is there anything that you did before you stepped into these rooms to like help you develop that confidence? Is there something that you would say to yourself? Is there a ritual you had? Maybe it's like a self-pep talk in the mirror, but is there anything you did to help you develop that thick skin?
I think first thing is definitely because I did it many times. Many times I was entering the room full of men and just pitching the idea. And of course, the first times weren't like confident at all. But then I kind of start to understand that like there's nothing personal, like it's not personal to me. And when you think about that, because they're also just the guys who is working for venture capital, they just decide, okay, should we move forward with this deal or not? So they also don't really know about like what is the startup about, where to invest. They're like, it's a lottery. So when you think it about like a lottery as a game, then you kind of stop treat it very personal. So it's just a rejection, but it's okay. Keep going, keep building.
What did being a founder teach you about community and connection?
That being a founder, it's a very lonely journey since you can't tell how like bad the thing is to like your friends or especially family, because they're like, oh my god, you left corporate life, you left like
Crazy.
yeah,
This is where
the
it all
dream
goes downhill.
place. And now like you feel so bad with like nothing in place and so on. You also can tell it to your friends because they don't really understand. Most of my friends, they also work like in tech, like in startups or corporate as an in place. Then of course you can't tell to your employees that something is bad because they're like, oh, maybe I have to leave the
The ship
company.
is sinking. Let's get out of here.
And then from another side, there's also, for example, investors or any like partners that you want to do the big partnerships and so on who will reject you. And you're like, wow, nobody kind of understands me, nobody wants me. And then you feel very lonely. And what is very important is actually to have this circle of people, very close ones, that you can tell like how you really feel. And maybe they won't understand, but at least they can hear you and be with you in this journey.
Describe how Les Amis is different from other traditional social apps.
I would say for us, like the most important is that we're anti-swiping, because we truly believe that swiping doesn't work for friendships. And the second thing, that we don't prioritize metrics like how many hours you spend in our app, what, for example, all the investors and industry are looking for. What important for us is actually how much time you spend at the offline events that we created, how many connections you got, and like did you really found like the best friend here.
So how has the vision evolved since the launch?
It's actually absolutely the same from the very beginning. The only thing that the culture changes. So for example, 4 years ago, like nobody talked about loneliness. Everybody were like, they're normal, everything is good. But right now, people understood that actually having the best friends around is very important, especially after COVID. Especially now, people are moving cities and countries very easily. Like they want to change the place every 2-3 years, or even if you stay in the same city, then probably your friends start to move as well to the new cities. So and then you just become lonely just because your friends left.
Yeah, and I also think there's another added layer here as well about women, obviously, because women are, I guess, kind of postponing having children till later in life. Some not, but some are. I feel like the women that I've met in my 30s are so different to my friends that I had in my 20s or even before then. And I think that I speak to a lot of women who are reaching that age of almost 30, going through their Saturn return, whatever, but going through that moment and sort of going, okay, I kind of want to find like new inputs or women who are maybe more aligned with where I'm at in my life's journey, because I think at 20 everyone's kind of in the same place.
Yeah.
And then as time evolves, people start having kids at different points or big career changes, or I think even women who have their own business, like you want to be surrounded by other women who are also maybe in a similar journey so that they can understand the issues that come with having your own business.
Yeah, exactly. So now people think way more about like who are the people around them. So and we see that, for example, 4 years ago it was kind of weird to find friends through the app. But now more and more it becomes like more normal. And I think like in 5-10 years it will be more like kind of okay, you go to Tinder to find your boyfriend. So it will be also the same, like, oh, I need a friend, or have like my mental space for one more friend. I will go to the app to find it.
Because friends are like vitamins, aren't they? You need like your omega-3, you need your vitamin D, you need all of these different inputs. And I do think in the age of like the algorithm as well, everyone's sort of in their little bubbles a lot in terms of like friendships. It can be very easy to fall into bubbles where everyone's sort of like the same. What I love about any event that I've been to with Les Amis is how many people from different countries there are. And I just think it gives such a wider perspective to the human experience. I wonder, obviously Les Amis is in so many different cities. How many cities now?
12.
12 cities. Oh, God. 12 cities. You should do like a tour.
Absolutely.
I should do a tour around
should
all
do
these
a
different
tour.
cities. But no, I was wondering, you're in 12 different cities. What have you learned about female friendships, or what is like some of the factors that you've learned that these countries have in common?
Actually, everybody is asking that, and everybody is thinking that in these all cities we have kind of different people or different lesbians and so on, but actually it's all the same. What we truly understood that in all these cities, in all big cities, the problem of loneliness is absolutely the same. People just want to meet new friends, and that's it. So all the women coming to lesbian event, they're coming with the same intention. So actually, lesbian and women in these cities are all kind of the same in terms of why they come to lesbian, but they are all different.
What role does mentorship play in Les Amis?
What is really cool, even if you're not looking for the mentor, very often you go to an event and there will be just a woman who knows something that is very interesting for you. It can be everything. Maybe she's a singer and you're like, wow, I want to sing. Or she's I don't know, for example, a CFO in one big company, and like, wow, I can learn something new and something important for me. That you can meet so different women that will actually put some impact in your life. And it won't be like texting the cold email in LinkedIn, like, oh, hi, can you please mentor me because I think you're so inspiring and so on. But no, it comes naturally. And through event, you get this connection, and then you just can keep talking and get her help.
Because there are so many different parts of us that need mentoring. I find I've just become a mother, and I feel like I'm also now making space in my life for people who have, even mothers to like teenagers, right? It's like someone who can help guide me through this whole new process that has been opened up in my life. And I think it is so important to nourish all those different parts of ourselves and to grow them. Someone said to me the other day, Lala, what isn't growing is dying. And it really stuck with me. I was like, shit, better get growing quick. But it's so important. And I think it is really cool to obviously come to these events and to connect with women from so many different cities with so many different life experiences who have so much to offer. Whether that be where to get like the best coffee in town or
yeah, let's start with that.
Yeah, or even book clubs, that can start like what you're reading, and people who can just lend you books.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know like that you need it, but then you hear it or you see the example and you're like, wow, I can get something from it.
I always feel like I know when something is good for me when I leave energized, from a space when I leave energized. And I think these days, especially living in cities, there's so many elements. I don't know if it happens to you where like I'll leave a meeting and I'll feel drained, or even I'll meet a friend for a coffee and it's just not the right day, or I'm not and I feel drained afterwards. And I feel like something that I really love about coming, obviously, when I see you, but also when I come to Les Amis events, is like I feel energized afterwards. Like I feel like my soul has been nourished in one or many different ways, whether it's like the clay cup that I've messed up, or whether it's a connection that I had there, or whether it's someone I met who just maybe said something.
Yeah, I always have absolutely the same feeling, because there were like times when I'm going to an event and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired, I'm so overwhelmed, I know I have a headache, and then I come there and I was like, wow, so cool, and I'm like leave so energized.
And that's the thing that I'm finding right now, especially with all like, 2026 people talking about like living more in more analog, basically, like maybe spending less time on screens. But so often I found myself about to go out the door on a weekday and I'm like, I really would just want to stay inside and doom scroll and just eat crisps and like do nothing. But I know what that leads to. Whereas if I get up, put something on, leave the house, as soon as I get there, my mood shifts. And I realize how important it is to make space for community, especially in cities, because I think we take for granted, because I've thought about loneliness in cities, because it doesn't make sense, right? Like, surely in spaces where we have so many people per square meter, we should be feeling like energized and connected and, right? But it's the
Yeah,
opposite.
but it doesn't work like that.
And I think it's because we think, oh, there's someone living upstairs, so I'm not alone. But actually, I think it's because there's someone living upstairs. We often think we don't need to go out and make an effort to connect with others. So yeah, I've been thinking about this community aspect a lot in cities because I think that it's crucial. We talk about, I did a whole year on health and wellness, and one of the pillars is community. And it's they say loneliness now is worse than smoking a pack of cigarettes a day.
Yeah, that's correct.
So it is, I think, a really important problem to tackle, and I think it's also really important that we destigmatize this and we understand why it's happening and why it's important. You've spoken a lot about imposter syndrome. How does it show up for you now?
It still happens, to be honest. There are still like the rooms when I like, oh, maybe I don't belong here. But actually, what I always tell to like other women, for example, who is like just starting their career, changing their career, or maybe becoming a founder, is that if you're already in this space, it already means that you belong. And even though if somebody doesn't believe in you, you're still here, you have your place, and you need to keep going. So, for example, also it's kind of fake it until you make it thing, because of course, if you want to be that person, you don't become this person after one book. No, you need to be in the food of this new person that you want to become and just behave, just act. And then you get the experience. So basically, when you feel this imposter syndrome, it means that you grow, and it's absolutely normal to have it.
I love that. I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were saying how they think they're really insecure. But he was saying, but all my friends think I'm really secure. I was like, well, what is your definition of insecurity versus theirs? And I think that we have all of these like grand themes, like or beliefs, like imposter syndrome, but we don't actually challenge what they mean to us and how it can mean something. Like, what is being good or what is being brave? Because being brave is not feeling fear; it's feeling fear and doing it. So it was, and he had a penny dropping moment. He was like, shit, I'm not insecure at all. No, you just feel insecure sometimes, but you show up anyway, and that's what slowly builds the resilience.
I love it.
What practices help you stay grounded as a founder?
Definitely gym. So I go to the gym 3-4 times a week at least, just to feel sane, and that's a really nice moment when you can relieve the stress and just do the kind of off-on thing. Then cooking, actually I love to cook.
I can vouch, you're an amazing cook. I will always be there to receive your cooking.
So it's the time when my hands are dirty, I can't check my phone, and I'm just there cooking with music and so on. That's my ritual for sure. Then I will be honest, I don't do the meditations every day, but I do it when I feel, let's say, insecure or stressed, overwhelmed and so on. And then actually always trying that Sundays I don't meet any person. So basically Sundays are just for me to be grounded, just spend time by myself.
What's a leadership lesson you had to learn the hard way?
I think that the most important thing is actually the company culture, the culture inside the company. Because if you don't set it, then you will have, for example, employees, they don't really understand what is the goals of the company or how it should work, and probably they will leave and come, and it doesn't build a good culture because it's kind of unstable. But building the culture that you want and explaining what are the priorities, what are like good things that we can do, what are like bad things that you shouldn't do, and so on, and just like setting the tone of it and having this very friendly and supportive atmosphere within the team, this is the most important, because you can't, like as a founder, you can't build the company alone. You need these supporters, you need these teammates who will do the magic with you and who will really believe in the vision and mission of the company, and this is truly important. And the first 2 years we didn't think about it at all. But then we start to see some patterns that we don't like, and then we start to invest a lot in leadership and the company culture itself.
I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, we had gone away for the weekend and it was like 11 o'clock at night and you were on your laptop. It was your birthday. It was your birthday. We were in a castle in France. It was 11 p.m. The champagne was out and you were on your laptop and you were in this beautiful gown and you were just saying, yeah, I just need like 10 more minutes, which turned into like an hour, by the way.
I always say 10 minutes.
And but I wonder, you know, and I said, Anna, how are we going with our control issues here? Because I think there is a tendency. I think also an added layer as women, there may be another tendency in like control and like making it like, it can be kind of hard to relinquish that control. How has that been for you?
It's been better, but I can't say that it's perfect. I still have control issues overall, because sometimes it's really hard to let it in. And the second issue, what I can say that I feel as a founder, is personalize company as myself. So basically, if the company have bad times, I'm also bad, and I'm a bad person.
So the company and you is the same thing?
Yeah. So me is the company is me. And then when the company is like nourishing and everything is perfect, then I'm also perfect. So, and this has actually been very difficult, just to disconnect these things and just company as a product and me as myself.
I get the same with music. It's with my songs, it's the same feeling sometimes. And it's a really hard process to just sort of go, okay, I release you. The difference is, I guess, with music is like, I can make it mine when I'm in the studio, but then once it's released, there's nothing. Do you know what I mean? There's no tweak. You can't go back and tweak it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to be really OCD to go back and tweak it. Okay, are you ready for our rapid fire?
Let's try.
Yes, I have 5 questions for you. You've got to reply with 1 or 2 words. You ready? Grit or intuition?
Grit.
I love it. You just go grit. Amazing. One book that changed you. You're allowed more than 1 or 2 words.
Hard things about hard things.
Comfort meal?
Pasta, always.
Any specific kind of pasta?
Any pasta that I'm cooking.
Best advice you've ever gotten?
I would say believe in yourself and just keep going, because it will work out.
One word your friends use to describe you?
Oh, it can be, I would say, ambitious or maybe stubborn, for sure. These 2 words, let's say.
Anna, thank you so much for joining us on the sofa. I'm glad I was able to convince you to sit with us for our first episode.
Thank you so much, Lala. It was amazing.